Coach, you talk about your team's play in Hawaii in the first tournament of the spring season.
Hawaii was for the first 12, 15 holes we were great, and then we turned and finished into the wind, and we didn't finish well. And from there, we just couldn't regain the momentum. David Fink was awesome. I'm really excited about the progression he's made in his career. 2 second-place finishes in a row to end the fall and now to start the spring, and in our 2 toughest tournaments of the year so far. So I think he's beginning to believe that he belongs with the elite players in college golf, which I think he does, and so that's huge for us.
Speaking of David, is it just something that clicked for him? I mean, was it coming back from that injury? In golf, is there one thing that all of a sudden you make that big of a leap to finish second in 2 back-to-back tournaments?
Well, this game is so much about confidence that David taking second place in Coeur d'Ivoire really showed him that I think he could win at this level. And, he's had a lot of success in amateur tournaments. He was the Pacific Coast Amateur champion last summer, which is a huge event. So he's always had the game. It just hasn't quite clicked in college, but it's beginning. And, he has the power. He can overpower a course, but if he's not quite on, his short game is so good, too, that he can still shoot a good score without his best ball striking days.
You mentioned confidence. As a coach, is that something you can help teach your players, or is that something that you help them with all the other aspects of golf and hope they build that confidence?
I think that it's important that I help teach it if I can. It's so hard. This game is so hard that the guys are, I talked to them about it this last week in practice, just beating themselves up way too much. We talked about how golf, it's not made to go stand on the range and go to the course and think that you're going to hit every shot perfectly, because if that's your expectation, you're never going to reach that expectation. So we really just talked about, as we move into the Classic Club this coming weekend, to just shoot the lowest score possible no matter what it looks like, because how you hit the ball doesn't matter. Usually the guys that you play with that hit it all over the map and shoot a low score, it frustrates the heck out of you, and that's what we need to become. And then to understand that golf isn't about hitting perfect shots, because you'll just beat yourself up nonstop.
You have 3 seniors on the roster that you've got here different ways, but have been part of the progress with you. Just has it hit you that they're kind of running down to their final tournaments?
Yeah, it's been a huge emphasis, starting with the team retreat we took to the coast beginning of the year this spring. And we kind of have, one of my big things for our program is to make the most of every day and the opportunities that they have. And, if we can make it to nationals, which hopefully that's the goal. It is the goal, but hopefully we can get there. They've got about 21 days left of competition. So it's making sure that as we move forward, even though it's still 4 months out, that in those 4 months, really, they've only got 21 days left to wear Oregon State gear and represent our school. It's tough. For them, I think if you look at the guys and how they've played this year, Matt Rautzer played great in Hawaii, but before that in the fall struggled, and as a senior, just trying way too hard. I think that's been one of the issues, that our seniors, they realize that it's coming to an end, and they're trying way too hard and trying to be too perfect, when if they just relax and go play and have some fun, they're going to shoot better scores. So it's going to be difficult to say goodbye to those guys. Kind of my thing is, I don't want to have to say goodbye to these guys sooner than I need to, so let's make sure that we end the season in Georgia.
Just talk about the tournament you have coming up this weekend, the Wyoming Desert Intercollegiate, and just what your goals are in the 17-team field.
Well, I'd just like to, somebody a recruit actually asked me that yesterday. Do I set goals for the team when we go to tournaments? And no, I don't set specific goals, but we talk about 3 keys, things that we can truly be in control of. And if we can be in control of those things, then good things will happen. We need, it's important that we get off to a good start and have a good tournament and build on that for the rest of the spring. We still got plenty of opportunities to have a great spring and do a lot of really good things. But I think going into this week, those 3 seniors, Nick and Nick Sherwood both, I think they've, I've had chats with both of them in the last week since we got back from Hawaii, and I think both of them kind of realized that maybe they were trying too hard and putting too much pressure on themselves. We went to Pumpkin Ridge and played on Sunday, and Nick Chianello shot 66 on a really hard golf course. So it's not that they don't have the ability, it's the matter that they just need to relax and play some golf and have some fun, and we'll be fine.
I know you've mentioned some of the guys, but just talk about your lineup, who you're taking there, and just talk about each of them a little bit about what they need to do to kind of get their season going.
Yeah, well, our lineup's gonna be Nick Sherwood, Nick Gianello, David Fink, Matt Rautzer, and then Brian Jung. And this is actually will be the first time these 5 guys have played together since Colorado when we won to start the year. So hopefully that'll be some good mojo. I'm excited to have Brian back in the lineup. He brings a really good short game where if things aren't going his way, he can battle through it because his short game is so good. Matt Rautzer has made a huge transition from the fall to the spring, and we need him to play well. Just his mindset is way different. You can see it. He's more relaxed. He's not worried about what's going on. He's just there to play golf. And then David obviously is playing great.
I know you mentioned you don't set goals for tournaments, but what about just your overall goals for the spring and what you really want the team to accomplish?
Well, for the spring, the big goal is we want to make it to Georgia. Nick Sherwood is the only one on the team that's been to the national championship. So, he played as a freshman, and he really wants to make sure he's back there. So our focus is doing everything we can each day to make sure we end the season in Georgia. And I think, we showed in Hawaii for that first round. I didn't follow golf stat, but I think we were in the lead at one point. So this team has the ability. It's just a matter of letting it happen.